Hey there, Mick back in the foam forge here. Gonna paint up the rest of this guy here. Got the rings and the head of the mace painted up. I showed you guys how to do that in the sword video. You can go watch that one if you'd like to learn the underlay of the brass technique and everything. But today we're gonna paint all the wood parts. I'll show you how to do that. What I normally like to do is I will take brown acrylic paint and I'll paint the whole thing brown, and then I will come back up through it with yellow to make swirls for wood grain. It's pretty simple. You know, you wait for that to dry too, and then you clear coat, and then you're all done. We'll get right into that. All right, I've got my acrylic paint here. This one's real brown. And then I've got deep yellow here. And what you're going to do is just put some of this on the plate here. Make sure you have enough. I mean, of course, if you have to reach for more, you just squeeze it onto your plate here. But I do not want these to mix. We're going to need a lot more brown than we're going to need yellow. So we're just going to grab one of our big coverage paintbrushes here, get our scrap piece of fabric that is now coated in blue, as is everything in my forge, including me. That's just one of those things that happens. We're going to grab our wide paintbrush here. That way we can get a real quick coat of brown on here. This process, you don't have to be super like smooth with it. You can kind of just brush this on super quick. It will sink into your woodcut lines, but I just want to show you real quick how we get the wood grain look, and then I'll get the rest of it all painted up pretty quickly. So once we've got our whole section here, you know, if you get too much paint also in the slits for the wood grain look, just keep going back and forth and it'll brush it around in there. Or you can even take a smaller paintbrush and just kind of get in there and move it. That way it doesn't plug those up and you still get pretty good definition out of that. Although, you know, on the battlefield, people are not really going to be looking at the quality of your paint job. They are trying to not die. Make sure we get up here. All right, that looks pretty good there. And we want to make sure we do the swirling while it is still wet. If you don't do it while it is still wet, it doesn't come out as good. You can guess why. It's because the paints don't mix together. But then what you're going to do is just dip into your yellow, and then we're going to follow our wood grain. And this is super simple. You can brush it in darker in spaces, keep it real light in spaces. You know, just think about like wood grain in itself and what it actually looks like. And you can come back through. You know, you don't even have to do what I do here and cover the whole thing. What you can do, it's like on the other side here, is you can get your brown on, and then just in these middle pieces between your lines. You can grab up some yellow and just kind of drag that through there in a few different spots, and that will also create a wood grain. I kind of like to cross over it, but you know, you do what you like and you do what you want to see. But I'm going to get the rest of this painted up so we can seal it. All right, there we have our wood grain paint job on our haft of this weapon. We're going to let this dry up, and I am going to cut felt for the flanges, and we will get this puppy sealed up after this is dry, and we will attach our felt, and then we will leather wrap the handle, and we will have a weapon. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut our felt for the mace flanges here. We got lucky and we already have a piece here that is almost big enough, but we can get away with it. We don't need a full inch on the lower half of the strike side. I like to put enough there to at least grab and have a good area for it to like not falter on. And these are 2.5 inch strip right here. And we need them 10 inches long, and we're going to have to, when we attach them to the actual mace head, we will end up snipping around where we don't want it to overlap over the actual base of the head, but we need these 10 inches long. So we're just going to put them in our corner here, make them all straight and level, and then just cut them at the 10-inch mark. And we need 6 of these total, so we are going to have to get some more of this felt out, which is right over there, and get some more lengths of almost 3 inches by 10 inches, and we'll be right back with that. Folks, kind of got distracted and forgot to film painting or sealing and everything and felting the outsides of these, but I remembered just in time to wrap the handle. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to wrap the handle and make this a functioning, fully ready to larp weapon. Again, same thing as with the skull splitter sword. We've made a wedge. We have our leather. We have coated it and the handle and contact adhesive. And we are going to come around this here and place our first spot up by the top ring of the handle and make sure we get it on there flush. That way we can wrap around this and get a good adhesion on the handle leather. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull this pretty tightly so we can kind of condense down this handle a bit so it's not as loose as it could be, because nobody wants a loose handle, and we want to make sure that this handle doesn't falter or give whenever you're striking with it. That way, you know, it's got a nice strong hand feel to it, and we don't end up with a handle that's too wobbly. Nobody likes a wobbly handle. The leather also helps add quite a bit of rigidity to the handle itself. Now what we're going to have to do with the end of this is make a cut so it does not get all crazy on us trying to put the rest of this handle material on and end up overlapping and looking all goofy. That way it meets up where it needs to at the bottom. There we are. And there we have a fully completed, now dusted with blue foam mace for the ages. This one was very fun to build. It has a nice look to it. Hopefully I can get it tested and make sure it meets the standards and quality on the battlefield that I like to get out of my weapons. I don't like building things that only last a little while. Most of my weapons tend to last about 2 years. I've given them to my kids to test too, so if that tells you anything. Yeah, thanks for coming along with us on this build. We'll see you in the next one.